So, do you guys have an appointment with anybody?
Maybe.
No. Do you have an appointment with somebody? My question to you is, do you have an appointment?
I mean, so, who are you?
I'm with security.
What's your name?
What's your name?
This is not really open to the public unless you have business here.
Well, who owns the building?
Orange County Public Schools.
Who pays Orange County Public Schools? See what I mean?
My boss is coming.
Because you guys are coming in here filming.
Yeah.
What's your name?
I own this building.
What's your name?
Well, I asked you first.
No. I just asked you. What is your name? I just went through the same thing with this guy.
But I asked you first.
Okay.
So in order to have permission to be on our property, you need to coordinate through media relations, through my department. You can't just come in and start filming.
What is the purpose of the videotaping, Scott?
He's documenting what's transpiring here.
He's
because-
documenting?
If you don't have any business here, sir, you are going to be asked to leave. It's as simple
I
as
do
that.
have business
So if you
here.
would please.
I have constitutionally protected business here. So, under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, there's freedom of press, right?
Sure.
And
Are
so
you a member
that's
of the press?
yes. So that's constitutionally.
Do you have ID?
Ma'am, I'm not done talking. And can you explain what you meant by quasi-private, quasi-public,
I'm
whatever
not
you
getting
said?
into it with either one of you gentlemen. It's not happening.
Write it down.
No,
What's your
actually,
name?
Stay
I'm
right
going
there.
to give you
Come to
the
you.
email address because we have a process for that.
So I've basically just been staying in the publicly accessible areas. I didn't get in with a crowbar or anything like that. So we're just waiting on the phone call. Let's see if we'd even let us in here. You gotta state your business outside the door.
You come on in, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you, sir?
I don't need any help right now. Appreciate it though.
Are you an employee?
Huh?
Are you an employee, sir?
Am I an employee? No, I'm not an employee. I met you before, I think. Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
Come here, I have something to show you. I got a message from Scott.Howat.
So photo ID badges here.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing? Got a nice big waiting area in this publicly accessible lobby. I'd venture to say it's not all appointment related. All right, insurance benefits.
We'll see if any How can I help you?
I was just looking at the information here you got posted.
You're not allowed to record.
I'm not allowed to record? I'm sorry? Where do you...
Sign in?
Oh, no, I'm not. I don't have services back here. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, like she said, I'm allowed to record. I'm just taking pictures of the public areas. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Okay, so I just thought for a minute you were coming in for services.
Okay, yeah. Well, like she said, like you said we can't record. She said we can. I'm sure she already took care of it. Thank you. Yep, appreciate you. This is Human Resources. Hi. How are you all doing? Oh, I don't need any help. I appreciate it though. Let's get some pictures of the pictures on the wall. Things you got around here. Some of the awards you got posted. It's pretty relaxed here today, huh?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot going on.
Yes, this is great.
Yeah.
Good, how you doing today?
All right, thank you, ladies. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
You doing a video?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, some of the artists.
Yeah, they all seem pretty educated so far. You got cameras everywhere. What's back here? Yeah, it doesn't appear there's any sort of meeting going on. I'm sure this is probably locked too. Yeah, they got something going on in here. Yeah. Looks like they're still using the COVID 6-foot rule. Public notices. How's it going? Good. How do I get to the city clerk or like the PIO office, I mean?
You gotta get access from him. You get a badge.
No. All right, it says I need to get a badge from you guys to go see in the PIO office. They said I need to come up here to get a badge, right, to go to the PIO office. To see the PIO, public relations, or whoever does the.
Human resources, right?
Or I'm sorry, I'm wording it wrongly. It's where I would go get a public records request.
Human resources.
Oh, human resources does that now? Okay, cool.
If not, it would be our other locations that we have for public relations and any human resources.
Okay, you've been great. What was your name so far?
My name is Rivera. Last name Rivera.
Last name Rivera. Nice to meet you. I'm Zach. So how do I go on beyond that point if there's offices?
Unless you have an appointment or you're an OCPS employee, you can't pass the access point.
Well, before we get to that, what's the what offices are back there for that are for members of the public that have services for the public?
There's actually no offices behind the access point for members of the public unless you have a meeting with.
So there are services for the public, but if you have a meeting, so what offices are those?
They are all located on the OCPS website. It depends on what you're looking for.
Okay. Well, is there like a directory or something you can get me now?
On our website,
I don't have a computer.
I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for what exactly?
Any offices? It's a pretty broad question. Offices that have services to the for the public. Hey, how are you?
On our website. Good morning. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
Hey, while I'm here, my question is like, what offices do you have beyond that security checkpoint that have services for the public?
All of our departments serve Orange County Public Schools, schools and parents. So staff and customers, internal and external. They can be reached by phone if someone does not have an appointment, or they can be seen with any administrator if they do have an appointment. The first floor is the most common, and that's where most of our visitors visit. The upstairs are more administrative, and they're more helping the internal customers. So we support the schools support the parents. And then the first floor departments are for parents as well.
All right, I appreciate it. What was your name?
Coco, I'm the administrator for District Information Office.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
So if I don't have an appointment, I just want, because I'm not here for those types of services, you know, like a parent would have, but if I
Right.
just wanted to take pictures of the pictures on the walls, which are public record, you know, technically speaking, wanted to get some pictures and video in the public accessible areas that someone who had an appointment for those services would be able to enter into, because I couldn't make an appointment for that if I'm not there for those services. So
Yes, you
the only way to get back there is to just come in and maybe have someone escort me or just go into those areas and get my pictures and video.
Well, you can make an appointment with our arts department, which are who puts those pictures on the walls, and they can give you a tour.
Okay.
If you wanted to see art, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, art, and also to see what other public information is, like any pamphlets that are sitting out in the offices, and
Most of our pamphlets for all of our external and internal staff is down here. This is the district information office.
Right.
They're just, for example, I'll give you an example, payroll. All of their information is on our webpage, and it's accessible to everyone.
Right.
People come when they have to pick up a check or when they have to do business with the payroll department.
Right.
They don't come for information because all their information is accessible on our webpage.
Right.
So that's kind of how it works with every department. All their information is accessible on our webpage. There's no pamphlets outside of their areas. They're just offices where people are actually working for the internal and external staff, as well as our customers.
well, one thing I can't do online, or a member of the public can't do online, is observe our public employees, government officials, in the course of their duties. So that's one of the things I'm here to do.
Okay.
So I'd really like to exercise my freedom of press rights to go participate in constitutionally protected activity and not be have any sort of obstacle in my way. How do I get in there?
Well, the only obstacle is that most of our this week particularly is spring break, so many of our staff members are off. It's a very skeletal crew, and some departments are completely closed because all of our schools are closed. If you would like an appointment to have the right to exercise your right to like shadow someone or something of
Well,
that
no, I
nature,
don't
you
need to
can do
interview.
that.
Yeah, I'm not here to interview anybody or talk to anybody. Just I want them to organically be working on the duties that we pay them to do. I don't want to set up an appointment with somebody where they follow me around and they're not working, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I came during spring break is you guys, like you said, the school's out right now, so things aren't as hectic.
Right.
So I'm trying to be respectful in that regard. Is there someone that can just let me through there and I can go find the public office that have services for the public myself?
Well, what I can do is I can have you speak to our district police department who handles safety and security, and we do have a safety and security department. And in order to get beyond any of these turnstiles, whether it be here or access to a school in the internal part of it, because of the laws where everyone behind there has to have a badge. You would have had to have a background check. The only people that go beyond there are people that have had that background check done and followed that procedure, or they're being escorted by someone who has a badge and has had that background check and has the access to go back there. And so that process would have to be followed.
So if a parent or just a member of the public had an appointment to go for services beyond that point over here, would they have to get a background check before they go through there?
They would have to be escorted by someone who is an OCPS employee and have an appointment.
Okay.
Yeah.
An appointment for those services, though.
Whatever service.
All
they're
right.
here. And usually
But
beyond those
again-
doors for external, for internal, we all have access, right? But for external, it's just vendors, right? People who are looking to do business with us, with our procurement department, or someone that may be visiting our school board, right? Our school board members, or our, things like that. They'll have specific appointments that would require them to go beyond those doors.
Okay, so is there someone here that can escort me then while I'm here? Because there's not an appointment I can make for what I'm here to do. It's not for the types of services you're typically used to.
Right.
So you
what
kinda
I would
have
do
to
is I would
think
have
outside the
you
box.
speak with someone in safety and security management,
Mm-hmm.
and they could determine what would constitute the kind of service you're requesting,
Oh,
and
okay.
what kind of a escort you would need.
Sure, I'll
for
talk.
that.
I'll talk to him. That's fine.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we call, see if Lou is here? Lou, Alexis, and Safety and Security Management. And I'll call District Police and see who's here.
I think Norm's downstairs.
Norm? Okay, I'll ask him.
I'll give you my name. My name's Zach. My name's Zach. I'm an independent journalist. I don't work for a corporation.
Okay. Norm is on this one.
Yes.
It's Norma?
Norm Envall, he's one of our commanders in district police.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So requests can be made either by phone or by email to the school board,
Mm-hmm.
who governs over whether or not we're allowed to give you access. So that way, it could be determined who will be escorting you, exactly what your purpose is, and they can look at the policies and procedures and make the decision and communicate with you in writing. Or you can call the school board. Now, I will say that the school board, the majority of our school board members are not on campus during spring break. So I don't think there's anyone here today, especially today. But you can call and see if any of them plan to be here during the week,
You guys have a metal detector?
for school board meetings.
What? No one has to go through like a metal
No, there's no
detector
metal
over
detectors
that
there.
area.
No,
Okay.
that's just an access
Gotcha.
turnstile, yeah.
So I can't just go back in there, give you my first name, sign in, whatever. Then I get a badge and can just kind of do my thing.
There is a badge, we use a Raptor system, which runs a soft background check. There is a Raptor badge system for those that have appointments. There is no procedure for those that don't have
Oh, you
appointments.
guys actually do run a background check for those who have appointments.
Everyone.
Why-
Everyone that goes back beyond that,
Is there children back there?
no.
So they're all adults, and they
No, but we work with children, and sometimes children visit us.
yeah, but
At any time.
that's true at any public building though.
Right.
It seems like there's a real fear for the people.
No, there's no fear, it's just procedure.
I know it's procedure, but it's
That's a good question that you can ask in writing and get the actual official statement from Orange County Public Schools regarding why that is, right? They can provide that to you.
I already understand the reason why. The overarching answer is going to be safety, security.
Right.
But again, freedom is dangerous. It's not safe. You know, this is a public building. It's paid for by the people's tax dollars. So if they have services for the public, I understand the appointment thing. That should be an option. But I've been to hundreds of public buildings, and they all have different procedures and things. But when it comes to a limited public forum, which is what this is, there's certain rules that can be put in place in regards to getting into, like, say, private areas or whatever, but areas that are open to the public or have services for the public, it should be just open to the public for members of the public to walk in, conduct their business, and call it a day. You know, it should be that simple.
Well, it is, because everything that the public, external customers would need is on the first floor. Other than if they want something more than that, like have an actual conversation with an administrator or something of that nature that couldn't be done on the first floor, then we give them the ability to go up through the Raptor system, right, and being escorted. So we've made it available for everyone on the first floor.
So who was the officer or whoever I was going to talk to?
Officer Emball, Commander
Is that who you were
Emball?
just talking to a
Yes.
minute ago? And that's what he advised?
Yes, that I provide our contact information so that you can get all the answers to your questions, as well as have them give them the opportunity to receive your request and properly respond. Because most of our administrators are just not on campus because of spring break.
So if it wasn't spring break and say everyone was here, who would be
They'd be able to come down and have a conversation.
who's they? Who would be the person?
Administrators in safety and emergency and access.
So specifically, the people who do the escorting are
People who
administrators and
not any administrator can escort if they have an appointment, right? But there are people in this building that are over the safety part of this building, right? And so they're the ones that work with school board and legal to produce all of these safety protocols. So those are the people that would have a conversation with you.
so last time I was here, I already did the education, but basically under the First Amendment, we have freedom of press, also called citizen press or free press. Any citizen can be press, essentially. So if you're gathering content for news purposes, essentially you already have a right under that Constitution, Bill of Rights, to go into those publicly accessible areas and do your business. So the Supreme Court's already ruled that that's legitimate business. It's not loitering. Right. I'll get to that, but but again, just to clarify, be very clear with you here, is that it's not loitering, it's not just wandering around, if that's what you're thinking. A lot of people tend to think that, but it's gathering news for news purposes, right? So it's already a right, and rights don't need permission. Rights don't need an appointment. rights are rights because it's already granted to us by the United States Constitution in America. So that's the point I want to be very clear about. I'm not comfortable with, going against. I don't want to waive my rights, just to take pictures and video inside of our offices that we pay for with our tax dollars.
Right.
That's my point.
I understand.
And it defeats the whole
However,
purpose.
Because I haven't had that request prior to you arriving today, I defer to our administrators to make that call, right? So I need
It's
them.
not up to the administrators.
Well, the administrators that work for our safety and emergency management and security of this building, they're the ones that work with legal and the school board to make these policies, and they're the ones that can give access for something that we haven't had this request before, right?
I was here
So
before.
they're the ones that I would have to ask for, and they're just not here today because of spring break. Most of our departments are closed. So if you make the request or if you call, right, and they give you that access, they
Everything's being pushed online, or give us a call and set an appointment. But it shouldn't be that way. They should have it set up to where if somebody's just walking in, not everybody has a phone, not everyone has a computer, not everybody has a government issued ID. All these measures you all have in place are really just kind of a Gestapo, kind of Nazi Germany, kind of even though it's not like at that level, it's getting there. So.
Right.
I'm here to make sure that I can keep an eye on my government officials and public employees without any sort of friction from the public that I pay.
Deterrent.
Right,
I get
exactly.
that.
So I understand you've been given directions.
Right.
You didn't make the rules. I get
Right.
that. But, there's no metal detector, which there was. I'd be willing to go through that. No problem. I have that's reasonable. But I don't mind giving my first name and business. And I already told you what my business was. It is legitimate business. Would love to just walk through there. If a security guard wants to follow me for safety, security reasons, I'm cool with that. I think it's a waste of tax dollars, but if at least I get to do my business and then get out here as soon as possible.
understand.
So you guys have plenty of security here. You guys have Allied Universal Security. There's at least 2 or 3 guys over there. You have police right over here around the corner to my right. There's got to be somebody that can walk with me, and whatever doors are open that are public, I'd like to just go in there real fast.
Well, everything that's public is on the first floor, right? Everything that's necessary for our public, any business that we do with the public is on the first floor. Beyond there are people who work directly with our schools, right? And procurement, who works
Okay,
with
so
our vendors.
all right, so I hear what you're saying. So just to be clear, on the record, any offices back beyond that point, those are all internal. There's no services that are provided to the public, even if there's an appointment.
So, yeah.
Like, is there
everything beyond that
budget?
point
Is there a budget office up there with like
are
a?
internal.
But if somebody wanted to go look through that booklet in
We
person,
have finance documents for the public.
you have all that down here.
Yeah, they made sure everything that has to
Okay.
do with the public is down here. Everything beyond that is internal. And they do have meetings with the public, but it would be something like the public requesting to do business with us, right? Like in procurement, right?
Right.
Or if a parent wants to have a meeting with an administrator
Okay.
over a certain department, we're not going to, of course, let's make an appointment. Let's have that available to you, right?
So
But
there's not like a desk like this with a counter where people can go up there and someone's on the other side of the counter and they provide
Not for the
any
public.
sort of
No,
okay.
not for the
Okay.
public.
I just want to be clear.
Internal.
That's
Yes.
where I was trying to get at earlier.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, assuming that you're correct, not that I don't have reason to trust you or anything, but if it's all private or if it's all internal stuff, then I have no interest going in there.
Okay.
Okay. So everything that's for the public
Is
that
on the
ever.
first floor.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, very good. I didn't have any issue when I was here, so
Okay.
it's
Well,
a
you're welcome to
lot
still
better than.
communicate with us.
I got a picture of it. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Appreciate
If
it.
you have any questions at all, we'll definitely entertain anything and look at anything that may not be, appropriate, or you may think that your rights are being violated. We'll
Right.
absolutely look at that.
And last question. So last time I was here, there was an issue with you can't walk around in this public area downstairs or take pictures and video unless you show your ID. That doesn't appear to be an issue now. Is that still a requirement to come in this general area around this desk? They don't require ID anymore?
No, I think maybe that was a misunderstanding. We haven't had that issue. No.
Okay, because last time they called the police, law enforcement came, and then they had a talk with the public employees for quite a while. and then came to the conclusion like, okay, you guys are good, and then they let us be, and then I left shortly after law enforcement left. But that was a big issue last time. Doesn't appear that's an issue this time, so.
Not at all, no. Everyone's welcome. We want you to come in, we want you to see the children's art, we want you to ask any questions that you may have, we want you to experience our departments for the public, right? So absolutely, you're welcome.
Okay, well, very good. What was your name again?
Wanda Coco.
Wanda Coco.
Yep.
I'm Zach. Nice to meet you again.
Zach.
Thank you so much for,
All right,
for
you're
your
welcome.
professionality. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Have a good day, sir. You too. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our revisit to the Orange County Public Schools here in the downtown Orlando, Florida area. Oh, by the way, I do want to point out that Old Glory looks amazing right now, and this weather, flapping in the wind like that, looks awesome. Anyway, I'm very pleased with what I uncovered here today. Obviously, they have been educated since my last visit, and that education has been retained by the public servants in this facility. They do remember my being there, even those who weren't there last time. They surely have heard of it. Upon entering, the lady behind the front desk, the younger lady, she went back and was kind of doing some damage control, making sure that the other public servants who might be ignorant of filming in public didn't give me any issue. She immediately corrected the lady in that one of those offices when I was in there before the lady could try to escalate the situation, and had no problem with me filming. Because the younger lady told her I was allowed to, had a right to. I didn't experience really any issues. There's a little bit of a miscommunication, I guess, with regards to whether or not there were services for the public in some of those offices beyond that secured checkpoint area. Wasn't able to go through there, but if what she's telling me is true, that those are all private offices, then what I got pictures and video of already is really all that I am interested in getting pictures and video of anyway. So I would say this is a pass. Very pleased with the results of this revisit. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Now go watch the first visit.